Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
If new home construction or a major renovation project is on the top of your list for 2026, then let's kickstart your plans with an interest rate as low as 3.99%. A construction loan at Dakota Land Federal Credit Union is tough to beat and definitely something you can build on. Visit DakotaLandFCU.com for details or stop by a friendly and convenient branch location today. Dakota Land, federally insured by NCUA.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
In times like these, it's good to know there's a place where people know who you are, no matter how long you've been gone. A place where the smells of home cooking are still in the air, where a simple wave warms your heart, and sharing stories is just a way of life. It's good to be home. Agraria Insurance Company, protecting what's important in life. Contact your local Agraria Insurance Company agent.
Farming today requires constant adjustment, innovation, and the right seed, and you'll find that with Pioneer Seed at Dakota Seed and Services in Irene and Vermillion. With the most advanced technologies and local experts, Dakota Seed and Service share in your hard work on the farm, adapting to an ever-changing industry. When you need the right seed, protection, and service, make it Dakota Seed and Services in Irene and Vermillion.
Best Western Ramkota Hotel in Aberdeen is the place to stay for business or the weekend family getaway. You'll feel right at home with ample parking, spacious guest rooms, and complimentary breakfast. And with a convenient location, you'll have easy access to local attractions and events in the area. While staying at the Best Western Ramkota, guests can enjoy an indoor water play land, an on-site Minerva's restaurant, exercise facility, wedding services, and a business center. For friendly service and a great stay, make your reservation today.
Out here, you learn that to keep growing, you have to keep changing. CHS and the farmers and ranchers we serve know all about change, because together we've changed agriculture. That's why we're the largest farmer-owned cooperative in the country. So farmers own the system they count on, with advantages at every step. From innovative tools that help crops grow, to grain processing expertise, to energy solutions, we create connections to empower agriculture. Learn more at chsinc.com.
When it comes to advertising, reaching the right market while giving back to the school is just plain right. If you're looking for an effective method that reaches a large fan base at once, then here's your ticket with Live Ticket TV. With over 90 schools in the state of South Dakota, we can help you advertise locally with just your home team or reach the region. Plus, a portion of all sales go directly back to the school. Get a hold of Heath Nimke today, and let's get started in building your brand with Live Ticket TV.
Could you use some extra cash? Every Thursday night, we're hosting Chase the Pink Ace with a large jackpot and growing jackpot. I'm RF Bowie, the founder of Team Bowie Cares. 100% of the profits go to local cancer patients fighting their fight. You can get your tickets at any business inside Al's Oasis or online at chasethepinkace.org. Drawing is held every Thursday night at 8:08 p.m. at the Last Chance Saloon inside Al's Oasis. Thanks for caring.
It's the postseason here in the Birdcage. Welcome to Vermillion Tanagers Live Ticket TV. Along with Cole Larsch, I'm Heath Nimke. Good evening. It's great to be with you as it is time for postseason basketball for the Vermillion girls. A season that has all led to this moment. A lot of highs for this group, finishing 12-8 in what was the year of the unknown. Only one returning starter from a year ago. 4 sophomores in the starting 5 lineup. What could this season be for the Vermillion girls? In the end, they finish 3rd within Region 4A and get a first-round playoff game. The only playoff game for the Vermillion girls, win or lose. But tonight, it won't be an easy task, as they have one of their arch rivals, the Dakota Valley Panthers, who they beat by 5 just a couple weeks ago. In fact, it was 2 weeks ago that the Vermillion girls traveled to Sioux City to get the victory against Dakota Valley. And again, 51-46 victory. And we'll see how this game plays out for tonight, and if the Vermillion girls can move on to the next round. If Vermillion does, they will play against Sioux Falls Christian in Sioux Falls if Sioux Falls holds on to win. There is a lot to dive into for this game tonight. Coming up here in just a little bit, we're going to actually sit down with Cole Larsch and talk more about the region postseason, his take on this matchup, and what it means to play against the Dakota Valley Panthers again. Later on, we'll take a look, preview of the Dakota Valley Panthers, what we're going to expect to see from them. Again, going back to 2 weeks ago, what all changes, who had success in that game, and is it going to be kind of the same situation, if you will, going into this rematch in the postseason? And then after that, we'll sit down with head coach John Brooks to talk about the season, as well as talking about this matchup against the Dakota Valley Panthers. It's going to be an exciting evening here in the Birdcage. We look forward to bringing it all to you, but it's time for our first timeout break. When we come back, we're going to sit down with Cole Larsch and talk more about the postseason, and again, later on, take a look more at Dakota Valley, how they finished with their season, and getting ready for tonight. That is on the way next here on Vermillion at Tanagers Live and Live Ticket TV.
Midwest Ready Mix and Equipment is your locally owned and operated ready mix company. Their specialty, 6x6 front discharge mixer trucks that allows for better placement of concrete and ease of use. Midwest Ready Mix and Equipment offers the highest quality of concrete products and aggregate, and also a full-service dealer for low-gun equipment featuring telehandlers, excavators, and ASV track skid loaders for purchase or rent. Midwest Ready Mix and Equipment, East Highway 50, Vermillion.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
Just a quick reminder from the parts team at Grossenberg Implement. The Grossenberg Custom Parts Catalog has some great sale items going on right now. From batteries and lawn care products, you'll also find deals on radios, cameras, spray paint, and cleaners. Whew, there's so much going on in there, can't fit it all into one spot. So stop in and get your copy, or let their staff know to add you to the mailer at Grossenberg Implement.
Pests don't wait, and neither neither should you. At Olson's Pest Technicians, we've been protecting homes and businesses for over 55 years. From bats in the attic to rodents in the walls, ants in the kitchen, termites underground, even swarms of mosquitoes. We've seen it all and we handle it all. With expert technicians, ethical treatments, and service across South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa, you can count on Olson's to get the job done right. Contact us today at Olson's Pest Technicians. Family owned, community trusted.
Vision Care is the place to go for new glasses. Our opticians are trained to style you with a frame that fits your face, so they look great and are comfortable all day long. Based on the doctor's recommendation, we'll help you choose the lens features that will be best for how you do life. Plus, you might have fun too.
Vision Care Associates, where the health of your eyes comes first.
Early in warm-ups as the crowd begins to file in for the Vermillion Tanagers. A few Dakota Valley Panther fans are making their way in. We're a little bit more than a half hour away from tip-off in their Region 4A quarterfinals between the Vermillion Tanagers and the Dakota Valley Panthers. Winner will take on the winner of Sioux Falls Christian and Elk Point Jefferson. That game is also coming up here at 7 o'clock. And here on our next pregame segment, it's time to dive into everything when it comes to the postseason. That's exactly what we play for. We put 20 games on the schedule in hopes that we get every single one in along the way. And then from there, it's all about playing for home court advantage. And if the basketball team is good enough, you'll even get a first-round bye when it comes to the playoffs. And from there, the ultimate goal to try to make it to the state championship, be one of the final 8 teams that make it through your region, the Sodak 16, and then eventually to the state tournament. And that dream all begins tonight for both these two teams, the Vermillion Tanagers and the Dakota Valley Panthers, two teams that met 2 weeks ago. And I bring in my broadcast partner, Cole Larsch, and we begin with Cole. Before we talk more about this postseason, quickly, the rematch between these two teams, two towns that love to hate each other, and it's certainly both teams hated getting this draw when it comes to the postseason, because this does not favor one team or the other, because we know this is going to be an absolute fight tonight between the Panthers and the Tanagers.
And a lot of people look at this Dakota Valley team and you just kind of look at their record, and a lot of people say, 7-12, like, they're not really that great, but they've only played 3 teams this season with losing records or a sub-500 record. They played close in a lot of games, and including the first matchup. I mean, you look at that first matchup and how back and forth it was, how close it was, and I think you play that matchup 10 times, I think both teams wins 5 apiece. Even though some people, again, you look at their record, 7-12, maybe down a little bit this year. They've got the talent. They're just a little bit young. They've kind of come into a bit of a groove here at the end of the season. They played some pretty tough teams close, and like I said, kind of neither team wanted this. I think DV wanted to sneak up to that 5 seed to try to take on Canton. Then Vermillion got either Elk Point Jefferson or Beersford, kind of depending on how that 5, 6, 7 ended up shaking out. But it's going to be a really interesting region schedule as well. There should be a couple of interesting games here in Region 4A as well.
Let's dive into Region 4A and what we are all seeing for tonight. Again, if you're just tuning in and didn't see how it all breaks down, Lennox eventually was able to slide past Sioux Falls Christian to get the number 1 overall seed, kind of everything that we expected within Region 4A. Sioux Falls Christian finished as number 2. Vermillion finished at number 3. Canton finished number 4. Beersford number 5. Number 6, obviously, Dakota Valley. And number 7 is Elk Point Jefferson in the final standings of the Region 4A. So what that lines up to, and there's no reseeding after who wins and who loses tonight, even if there are some upsets. We just played out Canton and Beersford playing in Canton, as Canton again the 4 seed. Winner will take on Lennox, and then Elk Point Jefferson and Sioux Falls Christian, and Vermillion and Dakota Valley. Winner here tonight in the Birdcage will play against Sioux Falls Christian or Elk Point Jefferson. Cole, besides this game tonight, I think the other attention is on the 4-5 matchup. We just saw that one a week ago where Beersford got a 10-point victory, 72-62 over Canton. Canton was a much improved basketball team this year at 11-9. Beersford going into that 9-11, but this does seem kind of like an intriguing region when it could go a lot of different ways, maybe some slight upsets along the way tonight.
Yeah, we know that even though some of these teams' records, again, not really indicative of how they've done so far this season, they're just in a tough region, that every team that can come in here, they can be pretty competitive. You look at that 4-5 matchup again, they just played. It was a decently convincing win, like you said, at 10 points, but you never know when you come to region time where it's win or go home. The Elk Point Jefferson Sioux Falls Christian game, maybe not as intriguing as some people believe, but it's an Elk Point Jefferson team that went to Wagner and upset Wagner earlier this season, so they've got some capabilities in this DV team. Again, we've talked about it, they've got the talent, just a little bit young this season, and these two teams just played. It was a 5-point game earlier this season, just a couple weeks ago, so again, it's just when you get to this region standings, I mean, you can pretty much throw out everybody's record beforehand. Maybe you take Lennox and Sioux Falls Christian, give them a 1-0 record, everybody else starts at 0-0, and it's going to be pretty even all the way throughout. There's a lot of different ways this could go. It's going to be really fun. Again, this is just regions in a nutshell. You play 20 games this season, hope to get them all in, like you said, and then we get to this point in the season, and the entire season can change on the flip of a coin.
We did see Sioux Falls Christian get a 32-point victory earlier this season over Elk Point Jefferson, but again, that was extremely early into the season. And as Cole just mentioned, when it comes to postseason, anything can happen. And again, expecting a lot of great basketball within the Region 4A, which has proven to be one of the toughest regions. And historically, over the past 5-6 years, if you come out of Region 4A, you put yourself in one of the top spots to not only make a championship game, but also win a state title along the way. You may remember when Vermillion won their state title, T-Area was the other team in the Region 4A. In fact, it was a Region 4A state championship game between Vermillion and T-Area. So again, that just shows how great this region is. Cole, quickly hopping around when it comes to girls basketball in the regions. On this Tuesday, there's always a few intriguing matchups, but again, when you have those number 1 seeds that have the night off, and that is kind of the way it goes throughout all the regions. In fact, a couple of years ago, it did get lined up that every region went to 7 teams, so there's all one team that will have, I guess, 7 first-round buys, or 8 first-round buys, excuse me, and we won't see the 1 seeds play tonight. But any other intriguing matchups that you're looking at across the state when it comes to girls basketball, I mean, even for Class B too, especially with their Region 4B, that always seems to be very good.
Yeah, see, I don't know really any specific matchups. I mean, you can look up across just about every region and go, the 4-5 matchup's going to be close, but that's just a given because those are the 2 closest teams statistically by the seed points. But I think one region I'm really looking at here in in Class A, is this Region 2. Number 1 seed Hamlin has the bye, but you also have number 2 Sioux Valley, number 3 Clark Willow Lake, number 4 Florence Henry. All pretty good 4 teams there in that region, so that one's going to be pretty competitive all the way throughout, kind of closer to home. West Central got the first round bye in Region 3A, so really no surprise there. I think one of the, I'm just going to call a spade, probably one of the worst regions this season in Class A is going to be Region 5, with Wagner being that 1 seed and kind of growing up in this area. Mount Vernon Plankton as a team now sitting at the 4 seed hosting a game tonight between maybe even number 2 MCM, number 3 Hanson. Really, it's going to come down to whoever comes out of that region except for Wagner, because Wagner's been so dominant this year, and I don't think really any of those teams are going to have that great of a SODAC 16 matchup just for how down Region 5 is. Then we're going to get an interesting region in Region 7 as well. Makpialuta, as we know, with the first round bye. But then in the second round, potential matchup between Lakota Tech and Winter in a rematch of an earlier game that was pretty close and pretty entertaining. We just saw Lakota Tech here on this court. They've grown into themselves as the season has gone on, and that's going to be a really interesting one. And then that kind of rounds out Class A. Those are some of the biggest regions. Obviously here in Region 4. And then Region 2 up north is going to be a big one to watch, where you could potentially see a 4 seed make it into the Sodak 16 just based on how well they're rolling, because you play a game Tuesday, you play a game Thursday, you win next Thursday, and you're in the state championship just like that. So it's just a matter of kind of playing your best basketball at the right time, and that's what all these playoffs are about, is if you can kind of get yourself on a hot streak, get yourself on a roll.
Fans throughout the evening, you can pay attention to more scores right there at the bottom ticker with the SD score feed ticker that is going at the bottom. Again, a lot of these games do not tip off until 7 o'clock, just like this one here in the Birdcage. Obviously seeing some AA scores that are currently happening at the moment. Again, AA for both boys and girls wrap up their season on Friday, just like we see for Class A and Boys B as well. And we did see Vermillion. If you missed out on last night, things looked a little interesting after quarter number 1, but got a 96-40 victory over Canton, their biggest point total and biggest victory of the season. So congratulations to the Vermillion boys on finishing a great season, and they will have their first round of the postseason right here on Tuesday night. Opponent to be determined, but right now Vermillion is still holding on to the number 2 spot within the region. Could potentially be a rematch between Vermillion and Canton coming up next Tuesday. We're going to take another quick timeout. When we come back, it's time for Cole's Coach's Corner, the 3 C's. That's on the way next here on Vermillion Tanagers Live and Live Ticket TV.
Welcome to Dakota PC Warehouse, where our staff aren't just friendly, we're certified nerds with a side of tech genius. Prepare to be awed as we unleash a barrage of geeky charm and unbeatable deals on PCs and HD TVs. And our tech gurus, armed with determination and a questionable assortment of snacks, can fix just about anything. We love technology and making it work for you. Dakota PC Warehouse, because being a nerd is our superpower.
For healthier crops and stronger yields, count on Nutrien Ag Solutions. By partnering with the leader in plant nutrition, you'll have access to innovative products and unmatched service that deliver impact and efficiency to every acre. Healthier crops, happier growers. Lead the field this season and beyond. Find your local crop consultant at nutrienagsolutions.com.
Back here in the Birdcage, it's time to break down this matchup more between the Dakota Valley Panthers and the Vermillion Tanagers. Later on, we'll take a preview at how Dakota Valley finish off their season, what they're expecting to show tonight, and again, the players to watch. That's a little bit later on. Plus, coming up here on the pregame show, we'll sit down with head coach John Brooks, relive an exciting season that saw the girls finish at 12-8. Quickly go back to what happened against Lakota Tech and what that game means moving forward in this rematch from 2 weeks ago between the Tanagers and the Panthers. That's even later on, but right now it's time for Cole's Coach's Corner to relive this game from 2 weeks ago and show you what we'll be expecting in matchups tonight for both the Vermillion Tanagers and the Dakota Valley Panthers. So Cole, I bring up 2 teammates that play a part of the Sanford Academy, Warden and Roovers. We expect those 2 to have a big game. We expect Warden to have a much bigger game than what we saw from her 10 points 2 weeks ago. What does Vermillion have to do to shut down Aubrey Warden going into this game tonight, kind of like they did 2 weeks ago?
Well, it's going to be a fairly common theme. And again, you talk about some of these rematches. With this being so recent, it's going to be interesting to see what both these coaches decide to do, whether it's John Brooks on the Vermillion side, Tammy Lilly on the Dakota Valley side. This is kind of a look at what Vermillion kind of stuck with for a majority of the game to try to shut down, like you said, Aubrey Warden outside, and then it eventually ended up to Katie Betzworth going off for 18 points in the game, was their leading scorer. But here's how they're defensively set up, little Cole's Coach's Corner, as we're going to call this little segment. Vermillion and John Brooks, they really stuck right here in this 1-3-1 zone for a majority of the game. One player at the top, typically your Taylor Roovers guard at the top, going to look for some size inside, whether it's Tessa Nelson, Lexi Hansen, any of the 2. Those 2 kind of interchanged, whether at the free throw line or on the wing. and then you typically have your quickest player and kind of grittiest player down low. That's typically been Izzy Richardson a lot of this season for Vermillion and a lot in this game. And the reason they kind of stuck in this defense is because, well, you see they're extended out to the wings. They want to try to shut down anything outside the wing for open shots-wise and then kind of congest that outside. Don't want to give them any low open looks because we've seen what Dakota Valley is good at so far this season. They're good at hitting open shots. However, for Dakota Valley, this is kind of how they broke it down for a lot of the game, no matter what defense it was. They really tried to string out this Vermillion Tanager defense, just playing a little bit of 4-out, maybe a 5-out type of deal. They're going to have the point guard up here with the basketball, player on either wing, and then kind of in the corner, and then down here on the low post, or kind of out here on the wing, whichever one they decide to kind of go out to, whether they want to play a 4-out or a 5-out, kind of depending on their personnel. And what you're trying to do offensively to attack this type of zone is just trying to dribble into any one of these gaps anywhere here on the zone and just trying to get the defenders to double commit. And what I mean by that is you dribble in right here, change my pen color back to purple, you kind of dribble in, get either Roovers on the top, or whoever's out here in the top and whoever's out here in the wing to double commit. All of a sudden, you've got yourself a 4-on-3. If you can move the basketball around, you shift somebody down to the corner. That sends your bottom defender out. Then you can get a pass down low, a skip pass over in the corner. There's a lot of different ways they can attack this 1-3-1 zone. And most commonly, it was exactly as follows. They drive in right here, try to get to about the elbow on the free throw line before they can go anywhere. Make this defender at the free throw line step up, make this wing defender step over, just try to get somebody to double commit, force a rotation. You want this bottom player, if you're Dakota Valley, to kind of stretch themselves out and leave an open zone, and that's exactly what Dakota Valley did. However, Vermillion tried to switch up their defense a little bit as well. They went away from the 1-3-1 zone. They kind of went to a 2-3, sometimes even a 3-2 zone. Kind of the same concept, is you just want pressure out on the wings. You don't want to give them any open shots. Just pressure, 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 and then once Dakota Valley gets a drive inside, you want to crash down on everything, and that's how we saw Dakota Valley miss over 30 shots in the game. As soon as they drove inside, Vermillion was able to get just a ugly shot forced and a good rebound inside, because Vermillion does have a slight size advantage in this one, not something we commonly see. That's how Vermillion's going to try to shut them down. It's all ball pressure out front, pressure on the wings, try not to give up any open looks from 3. On the other side, for head coach Tammy Lilly and the Dakota Valley Panthers, well, you see that highlighted right there at the top. They want to limit Roovers' touches within 35 feet of the hoop. For reference, right about here is within 35 feet of the hoop, and we saw that in a couple of different defenses. You see at the top there kind of a box-in-one, a diamond-in-one type deal, also a 1-3-1 zone. This is kind of how it's got set up. So Vermillion to attack this zone. Roovers at the top, anybody on the wing, just a common little high-low set for the Vermillion Tanagers. And here's how Dakota Valley set up defensively for a majority of the game. No matter where Taylor Roovers went, she had a defender guarding her at the top, around the wing, no matter where. Those two were locked in the entire 32 minutes when Dakota Valley was able to get set into some defense. Now they kind of played kind of a modified box-in-one. Some people call it a diamond-in-one, where you've got your other wing defender kind of alternate on the opposite side. You do not want these two defenders on the same side, or else you're going to start creating some chaos. You want one underneath the hoop, one on either wing, and sometimes even this defender under the hoop was kind of playing pretty close to the free throw line, kind of forcing Vermillion to try to make a pass inside. Now, similarly to how Dakota Valley was attacking this is how Vermillion was able to attack it whenever Taylor Roovers was able to get the ball away from the defender and start a drive. You just simply want a double commit against the zone. That's a pretty common zone tactic against all kinds of different zones. Just kind of move the basketball around. That's how we're able to see a bunch of different open looks from this wing and this wing, even some corner threes, and that's how we're able to see a bunch of passes out with Lexi Hansen with 12 points, Tessa Nelson with 10, and Shaylin Hinseth with a 3 as well. Again, it's just a lot of ball movement. You want to double commit from the zone. That's how both these teams are attacking this. You want to limit Roovers' touches as well within 35 feet. Going to be interesting to see how both these teams decide to either stick with these defenses or change up these defenses as we get into this game, because it's ultimately a chess match having played this recently.
That is Cole's Coach's Corner on the defenses and strategies that both these coaches will be heading into this matchup to see if they can't get the slight advantage. 2 weeks ago, it was a 5-point victory for the Vermillion girls. What makes this Dakota Valley team so special? Well, it's Aubrey Warden, but also the team around her. Don't let the 7-12 record fool you. This is a very good Dakota Valley Panthers team. What makes them so good is on the way next here on Vermillion Tanagers Live and Live Ticket TV.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
As we're getting you set for Region 4A playoffs here between the Vermillion Tanagers and the Dakota Valley Panthers. It's time to get to our preview of Dakota Valley. Again, it was just 2 weeks ago that this Vermillion girls basketball team got a 5-point victory. 51-46. We heard Cole Larsch talk more about that game just moments ago, but if you're just tuning in, again, Vermillion got off to a good start in that game, but it was really in that third quarter that Vermillion had to ride a wave of a storm from the Panthers as Dakota Valley was able to make a comeback in that third quarter, but Vermillion was able to stretch back their lead heading into the beginning of the fourth quarter, and from there able to hang on in that game as well. And even I can remember Lexi Hansen joined us during the halftime of the boys game to talk about how that team just had to kind of go with the flows of the game and battle through some adversity to pick up that 5-point victory. And when talking about Dakota Valley, again going back to 2 weeks ago, what happened for them as a team? Well, it was another 2 straight losses for Dakota Valley, losing against Del Rapids and also Tri-Valley. The Panthers lost to the Mustangs by 4, 48-44. And again, that was played on the 17th. If you look at the Vermillion Tanagers, and when they played against Tri-Valley, it was just the 13th. So, I mean, 4 days apart. And, of course, Vermillion won by 12 against the Mustangs. So you're looking just quickly at common opponents. Again, Dakota Valley, a little bit of a struggle for them to finish their season. They only played 19 games as well. They finished 7-12 overall, but that gets into our first talking point with this Dakota Valley girls basketball team is the way this season started for the Panthers. They were receiving votes or ranked in the top 10. They started off 5-0, getting wins against Beersford, Sioux City West, Canton, McCook Central Montrose, and Cedar Catholic. And even talk about that win against Canton. It was a 22-point victory. You may remember that Vermillion girls lost by 7 points against the Seahawks to open up their season. So again, Dakota Valley, they began their season really, really well. But then after that, that's kind of that 5-game start. Everything falls apart from there when you talk about, I mean, just what, 9 straight losses that they put up from going back all the way to January 6th through February 5th. So, I mean, we're talking over a month that Dakota Valley did not win a game. In fact, they finally broke their losing streak in the DAC-12 NEC clash against Sisseton. Then that following Tuesday, again, play against Vermillion, and then it was another 3-game losing streak before the Panthers did get a win before wrapping up their season. That, though, against a Madison Bulldogs team that went 2-18 on the season. So on paper, Dakota Valley finishes 6th within this region, which now leads to the 3-6 matchup for the postseason. And you got to feel confident if you're the Vermillion girls, already winning once against Dakota Valley, and you feel like you can win again, especially with the Panthers and the way they have played this season. But there's just so many great athletes when taking a look at Dakota Valley. Again, Dakota Valley coming into this game shoots 24% from deep. They also shoot 36% from 2-point range, or right around 31% from the field. They also shoot 58% from the free throw line. But the players that we really take a look at and what we saw was Betzworth. She had a phenomenal game against the Vermillion Tanagers. You may remember that she hit 4 threes in the first half, the first time these two teams met. And also Warden, who's just been stellar for this team. She averages 15 points, but we did see Vermillion do a great job in shutting down Warden in the first matchup. And again, we're probably going to be seeing that again is the Taylor Rivers-Warden matchup. John Brooks really likes to put Rivers on Warden. And again, those two players are teammates outside of the high school basketball season, do play a part of the same Sanford Academy group during the summer, so they know each other extremely well. But again, the Panthers do have those athletes that can really get going. And again, we saw a few other players. You look back at Carew, she had a big game against the Vermillion Tanagers, but she only averages 4 points a game. Other one to kind of to look out for are a few others for this group. But again, you never know. Verdone also had a quiet game against the Vermillion Tanagers, but her size inside can really cause problems. Also, Bella Stokes had a quiet game, but she averages 7 points. So there's a lot to look at when going into this matchup, and the Vermillion Tanagers might struggle once again to shut down what seems to be at times a low-scoring offense for the Dakota Valley Panthers, but they can get it going at any point in this contest and at any point this season. Again, Vermillion only averages 51.3 points a game, whereas Dakota Valley averages 51.2. So, I mean, we're talking about 0.1 that separates these two teams. Points allowed, Vermillion allows 47.4, whereas Dakota Valley allows 50.2. So there's only 2.9 that separates these two teams. It's going to be extremely close. This one is going to be one of the hardest, if not hardest, matchups of 3 versus 6 when you take a look at the region playoffs when it comes to Class A. This is certainly not the matchup that you wanted if you're the Vermillion girls. You kind of look at the other teams that were out there. Beersford and Elk Point Jefferson would have rather had those two teams than maybe this Dakota Valley team that matches up the best against the Vermillion Tanagers. And again, for Dakota Valley, certainly not the season that they expected. Yes, this is a very young team. They only have 1 senior on their group. They're really looking to make a big push going into next year as well. Talk about Warden, just the sophomore. You talk about Betzworth, also the sophomore. This is going to be kind of a matchup, if you will, Dakota Valley and Vermillion, that over the next couple of years is going to be producing one big game after another because of just such young sophomore play. But tonight it really sets the stage for which sophomore group can have a better game and also propel their team beyond and into the second round of the Region 4A postseason. And for the Vermillion girls as well, they have struggled when it comes to playing here in the Birdcage. You may remember a few years ago that famous matchup against the T-Area Titans where Vermillion fell to the Titans. Vermillion would eventually get their revenge the following season and winning a state championship against the Titans. But again, Vermillion girls, it's going to be a challenge tonight for them here inside the Birdcage. That's a quick preview of our Dakota Valley Panthers, what we should expect for them. Again, longtime head coach is Tammy Lilly that will have her group ready for this evening. We're going to take another quick timeout. When we come back, we'll sit down with head coach John Brooks and talk about the rematch from a few weeks ago. What is different going into this game, and how do they plan to shut down Warden, and how do they keep their offense going as well through all 4 quarters. John Brooks is on the way next here on Vermillion Tanagers Live and Live Ticket TV. close to the opening tap between the Vermillion Tanagers and the Dakota Valley Panthers right here on Vermillion Tanagers Live and Live Ticket TV. It is the Region 4A playoffs. It's an exciting time, but also it's going to be a difficult time. 7 teams enter within this Region 4A. Only 2 will make it on to the SODAC 16. Is it going to be the top 2 teams, Sioux Falls Christian and Lennox, or can we see an upset along the way, including your Vermillion girls basketball team? But this has been such a young squad, the year of the unknown. Taylor Rivers has set so many records along the way, but tonight it is the arch rival Dakota Valley Panthers that come to town here in the Birdcage to see if they can't upset Vermillion in the first round and have that opportunity to make it on to the finals, eventually have a chance to play for a SODAC 16 spot. I'm Heath Nimke. It's time to get to our coach's interview as I sat down with head coach John Brooks yesterday to talk about the final game of the season against Lakota Tech, how this team rebounded after that game, what's it been like in the final week of the regular season and getting ready for the Dakota Valley Panthers. And this game happened 2 weeks ago. How much do you draw on what happened 2 weeks ago and getting ready for tonight? Here he is on our pregame interview. It's head coach of the Vermillion Tanagers, John Brooks. Coach John Brooks, before we talk about Dakota Valley and getting ready for the Region 4A playoffs, let's quickly go back to last week against Lakota Tech to wrap up the season. Had a good game against Lakota Tech. In fact, got them into foul trouble early in that game, and especially in the first half. What was with the offensive game plan that you were able to take advantage of Lakota Tech?
You know, they're very talented, and you can see Shane Drew, their point guard, and the one Robinson girl is really, really good, and they can get going at any time. But we also knew they basically played 5 kids. They do not go into their bench very much at all. So whether it's foul trouble or whether it's just kind of staying in attack mode on them and putting pressure on them, that's what we wanted to do, and we did a good job of that. We actually thought we felt like we had a chance to really kind of put them away. But we let them keep hanging around, and they're too good. And eventually, if you let them hang around, they're going to make a run at you, and they did, and had some chances at the end that just didn't quite go our way. But yeah, it was a good game. Ended, knowing that we can play with some of those top teams like Lakota Tech, and hopefully that gives us some confidence heading into the region.
Yeah, you talk about losing that game, finished the season at 12-8, and even for Lakota Tech, that game did not matter in the end. They kind of solidified themselves within their region. You were kind of in the same boat. Everything goes right for you after that to finish at number 3. Was that game, even though you lose in such a close game, is it one that's hard to swallow, or it's just like, hey, it's good competition, now we know where we're at heading into postseason? What was your final thoughts on losing a close game?
Something we talked about as coaches afterwards, we said, if that game would have impacted something that would have been region seedings or a difference between a home court or going on the road first round, that one would have been really tough to swallow. But it didn't have any impact on us in our region seedings, and we knew that. Obviously, you want to win every game, but since it didn't impact us so much in regions, it's just kind of like you said, take some of the good things that we did there, try to improve on things that we did do so well, and move on and get ready for region time.
When it comes to your region as well, even though you finished up this season on Tuesday, there was still a lot that could happen throughout the rest of the region and the team that you could potentially play. So you're going into practice Wednesday and Thursday, still not knowing quite the for sure answer. You might have some ideas. So what were those first kind of few days like, getting back into the practice rotation, knowing you have a week off, but not knowing who you were going to play next?
Well, yeah, we had some kind of minor injuries and some sickness, so it was a good time for us to get some rest as well. So we took Wednesday off and got the girls out of. We practiced on Wednesday short, and then we took Thursday completely off. So it was nice, just a couple light days, and then ramped it back up on Friday and on the weekend and Monday, and then ready to go here on Tuesday. So I think our girls are in a good spot now and ready to play.
Well, then you get to the playoffs here on Saturday. It finds out who you're going to exactly be playing. It is the Dakota Valley Panthers as they draw the 6th seed within Region 4A. Again, we talk about getting number 3 within the region. That's so great, but how, I don't want to say disappointing, but how bummed were you to see that it was the Dakota Valley Panthers, a team that played you close just 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, well, welcome to our region. It doesn't matter when you play, you're going to be playing somebody good. So, we didn't even really have Dakota Valley on our radar. We didn't think that it was a possibility that they would drop to the 6, but a couple games that impacted them and Beersford, teams getting to 15 wins or dropping below 500, and those swing games in the PowerPoints ended up dropping them all the way down to the 6. So we thought we were kind of locked into Beersford there, but once they went and beat Canton and those other things happened, all of a sudden I woke up and we were playing Dakota Valley. So it's a tough game. They're much better than their record indicates, and but in our region, you're not going to be really good teams to get out anyway. So we'll be ready to play.
Well, let's talk about the Dakota Valley Panthers. Again, we just saw them 2 weeks ago getting a 5-point victory. It seemed that times things were going your way. Then at other times, Dakota Valley was right back within that game. What's your big takeaway from 2 weeks ago going into this game? How much are you looking at changing things around? Do you worry about what you saw 2 weeks ago? Is this a new game plan? How do you approach that as a coaching staff?
Well, yeah, I think, kind of going back and watching that film, we definitely found some things that we can do better offensively. They kind of ran, what we've seen all year, kind of a junk defense of a diamond and one on Taylor and some different things and kind of zoning up their other kids. So how exactly do we want to attack that? We're assuming that we're going to see that again. And so that was nice to get in some film with the girls and see some opportunities that we can take advantage of. And defensively, we thought we had a pretty good game plan. We did a really good job against Warden. Bethworth is one kid that got loose against us a few times, and she doesn't need much room to shoot. I think she ended up with 18 or 20 against us, so we need to do a better job on her. And, I think there's always a few different wrinkles here and there that everybody has kind of for region time, so we'll have to adjust to those as well.
As you mentioned, Aubrey Warden just got to, double digits right there late in that game for 10 points. Otherwise, I thought you did a phenomenal job in shutting her down. She really struggled against your team, and you mentioned how Bethworth had a lot of threes, actually, in that first half. She really went off. And you talk about shutting those two down, but how much do you really key back in on Warden again and make the game difficult for her and then play defense off of her to make sure she doesn't get going and you allow whatever may happen happens out there?
Yeah, you can't let her get going, because if she does, that just puts so much pressure on the rest of your defense. Then she's going to start getting other kids involved, and then they can be very good offensively. So it all starts with her again. And, not only the on-ball defender, but the help defender is being ready that, we're there when she gets in the paint. She's very physical and gets in, that 12 to 15 spot or range, and she's really good at scoring in those spots. So we got to keep her out of the paint. We got to have our help defense there, and then we got to rebound the basketball. A lot of times, when kids are over-helping on kids like that, you got to recover and rebound. So it's going to take a total team effort to get her stopped again, but, she's definitely priority number one.
Yeah, you talk about a team effort and you talk about yourself offensively. Obviously, we know Taylor Rivers is going to put up some big numbers when it comes to playoff basketball. But going back to that game 2 weeks ago, we saw your offense, besides Taylor Rivers, struggle at points, especially in that third quarter when you kind of had to hang on when Dakota Valley was making a comeback. How important is it to have everybody else contribute 4 or 5 points in this game against Dakota Valley, make them play honest defense?
Yeah, and I think that's the big part is, we're going to see, the diamond and ones or whatever, they're going to throw at us, and our other kids are going to have opportunities. Luckily, we're at home. We've played well at home this year, and hopefully we can get those shots going early. And, if we can make shots early and make them pay for sagging off our other kids, then they got to make that decision if they're going to keep that going or not. So hopefully we can get that going early. We'd love to shoot it well against them, and then, like I said, kind of put that pressure back on them.
You mentioned playing. Once again, that is head coach John Brooks here on our pregame show as he was able to sit down with us and talk about this matchup against the Dakota Valley Panthers and getting set for the game tonight. It's time to get to our starting lineups for both the Vermillion Tanagers and the Dakota Valley Panthers. Let's take a look at our starting 5 for both teams. In fact, it is the same starting 5 that we saw 2 weeks ago. It includes number 2, Bella Stokes, the 5'5" junior guard for the Dakota Valley Panthers. Number 4, Sophie Meyer, the 5'3 junior guard. Number 14, Katie Bensworth, the 5'7 sophomore guard. Number 20, Alexa Verdone, the 5'10 junior forward. And number 22, Aubrey Warden, the 5'10 sophomore guard. For the Vermillion Tanagers, it's number 2, Izzy Richardson, the 5'5 sophomore guard. Number 10, Lexi Hansen, the 5'10 sophomore guard. Number 11, Taylor Rivers, the 5'5 sophomore guard. Number 22, Shay Hinseth, the 5'10 sophomore forward. And number 44, Callie Schultz, the 6'1 junior center. And those are your starting 5 for tonight here inside the Birdcage. Again, Dakota Valley, 7-12 on their year. They finished 2-4 within the region, 2-7 in the DAC-12. The Vermillion Tanagers come in 12-8, finish 3-3 within the region, and 4-5 in the DAC-12. It's a packed Birdcage. We are set and ready to go on this Tuesday night for the Region 4A postseason. The Dakota Valley Panthers in their all-black uniforms, numbers and letters that are in white and purple. The Vermillion Tanagers in their all-white uniforms, numbers and letters that are in red. And we are underway when the first 15 seconds of the basketball game as the opening tap was won by the Panthers. And a three-pointer immediately for Bella Stokes to get the scoring started for the Dakota Valley Panthers. Taylor Rivers will bring it in the front court, trying to get free, kicks it to the corner. Hansen will shoot a 3. This one's off the mark, but it's an offensive board as Vermillion will reset offensively. First offensive rebound of the basketball game. Richardson swings it back to the corner. Hansen will drive, pick up her dribble, try to force it underneath and inside. Stolen away by the Panthers as Warden quickly goes to the front court. Warden spin the lane, turnaround jumper is off the mark and rebounded by Richardson. Rivers will slow it down. First minute of the ball game. Again, opening possession three-pointer for the Dakota Valley Panthers. They lead 3-0. Hinseth swings it to Richardson to Rivers, who's guarded closely tonight by Meyer, who gets the job to guard her throughout the basketball game. Schultz has it in the lane, kick back out to Hinseth. Down to 10 seconds on the shot clock for the Vermillion Tanagers. Now to Schultz, she has to put up a shot. 3 seconds to Rivers, now to Hansen, and a bucket with 1 second remaining on the shot clock, and a whistle call that will send Lexi Hansen to the free throw line with the foul against the Dakota Valley Panthers and going against Verdone, picking up her first personal and the first team foul.
Dakota Valley already, as we talked about in our pregame show, is kind of playing that kind of makeshift diamond in one, trying to just stop Rivers, double teamer as soon as he gets across half court, then just settling into that zone once he gets a pass off.
My broadcast partner, Cole Larsch, I'm Heath Nimke. It's great to be with you here on this Tuesday night in a Region 4A postseason basketball. Foot was on the line. It's off the mark anyway, though, for Stokes, but it's an offensive rebound, but Warden has it stolen away by her teammate, Taylor Rivers. Again, these two teams play on the same Sanford Academy team during the summer. Hinseth has it at the far wing. Kick it back to Richardson. Again, Meyer guarded closely. Step back three-pointer for Rivers. Knocks it down. Taylor Rivers. First points of the ball game for her. First lead, and Cole, it is loud, it is packed here in the Birdcage.
And this is the definition of a playoff environment right now here at home. This is a Tanager team that has only lost once at home, and they just get a turnover underneath. And that one loss coming to Lakota Tech just a couple days ago. I mean, this is as full as we've seen it here in the Birdcage this season.
And you could say it's full. The student section for once is all on board as well, with the theme tonight of it being Jersey night. It's 6-3, a three-point lead for the Vermillion Tanagers. Hansen tries to battle her way in. A great job, Cole. She kept the basketball away. Instead of going immediately up with it, she goes into Verdone, and Verdone just brings her hands completely down instead of bringing them up. And again, with Hansen now going up for a shot immediately, is able to draw the foul.
This is kind of what we saw Dakota Valley get into a little bit of foul trouble earlier in the last matchup as well, but you talk about that just being just a good textbook move there in the post when you want to draw contact and draw that foul. Lexi Hansen just did exactly that. I mean, that's a textbook foul there on the block.
Lexi Hansen misses the first free throw. Second free throw, this one is off the mark. So she's 1 of 3 here in the ball game this evening. Still a 6-3 game. Here in the first quarter, a few minutes in. Three-pointer, this one's off the heel of the iron. Ball is being bobbled around and finally collected by Taylor Ruvers. Ruvers will dribble it into the front court. Again, Meyer just completely playing suffocating defense, and then throwaway by Richardson, going slightly fast. But so far, Cole, Betzworth and Warden have been quiet here in the first 3 minutes or so.
Yeah, that's exactly what Vermillion wants to do. Again, they kind of dropped into that zone now. Looks like they're going to play a little bit of man-to-man, but Dakota Valley went away from that kind of triangle in one, diamond in one, went back into a regular box and one on that scenario and got the turnover. So far, Dakota Valley staying true to the defenses they played in the first matchup.
Isabel Carreau just checked on and throw it out of bounds as they try to get it to Katie Betzworth. So both teams trade turnovers. Again, a little tight for both teams as well, as this one means so much. Again, a winner will take on the winner between Sioux Falls Christian and Elk Point Jefferson, the 2-7 matchup. If it is Sioux Falls Christian, it will be in Sioux Falls. If it's Elk Point Jefferson and Vermillion wins, it's right back here in the birdcage. Up with the right hand, no good, but it's an offensive rebound, but Callie Schultz throws it right to Bella Stokes as she was under pressure. Quickly the opposite way, Stokes open, straightaway three-pointer is off the mark, and Cole, after that first three, Dakota Valley has not been able to hit it 3 sets.
Yeah, but they've gotten some open looks, and that's concerning for Vermillion defensively.
Warden has a touch as she's trying to use the screen, kind of partially got in her way, and then loses the basketball out of bounds. They say last touch, though. No, a foul was called instead. It will be against Lexi Hansen, picking up her first personal in the first team foul.
Yeah, we watched it back on our replay. They just kind of got her in, reaching in from the help position on that wing defender.
It was a non-shooting foul, so just the simple inbound underneath the own basket for Dakota Valley, trailing by 3. Get it into Warden, who was open, and Warden, with the right hand, scores her first points of the game.
Those are the worst shots to give up if you're Vermillion, because she was wide open on that baseline out of bounds.
Ruvers might have had her shot partially blocked, but also just looked like it was kind of an airball. And quickly, Carew, the opposite way, transition basketball, and it's a lead back for Dakota Valley, our second lead change of the game.
And one thing we're seeing from Dakota Valley as well, 3 assists on 3 made buckets. They're distributing the basketball very well.
Hinseth leaves off the front of the iron, does go last touch by Jun, who also came in at the last stud ball. So it will be Vermillion basketball. Dakota Valley student section right next to us. They disagree with the call. Certainly an obvious call. Should be Vermillion basketball. Deep 3 from Ruvers is off the mark. Fight for the ball in the lane. Warden finally comes away with it. Quickly in the opposite direction. They have numbers. Betzworth, the off-bounds 3. More of a pass to Jun. She goes back up with it. She can't get the go. Basketball being knocked around. Carew, the drive in. Swatted away by Callie Schultz. A quick transition up to Tessa Nelson off the glass. She can't get the go. Back out to Taylor Ruvers. Now to Lexi Hansen. Again, these two teams playing tight. Want to make the easy buckets, but it's not necessarily that easy. Back to Nelson. She'll put up the jumper. This one is off the mark. 2:46 first quarter, 1-point lead. We have had 2 different lead changes. Never a tie here in this game. Warden uses the screen, gets free. Out of Jun. Jun goes up with the right hand, gets it to go. First bench points for either team. 3-point lead for Dakota Valley, 9-6, 2:25 first quarter. Lexi Hansen, Ruvers, now underneath the Schultz, who is wide open, and scores. And 1 opportunity upcoming for Callie Schultz, 3rd team foul on Dakota Valley.
Just a lapse in defense. We talked about in our pregame show in the Cole's Coach's Corner, or whatever we called that segment, is Dakota Valley with that bottom defender often kind of plays up closer to the free throw line, and you're going to see if we can get those passes off with that heavy wing pressure and have a lot of those shots wide open for Vermillion here tonight.
At the end of the first quarter, fans, we'll have our trivia question of the night. Stick around for that, as the free throw is up and good for Callie Schultz. Vermillion is now 2 of 4 from the free throw line this evening. Dakota Valley has yet to shoot a free throw. And with that, we see our first tie of the game. 9-9 after the and one opportunity converted by Callie Schultz. 2:05 first quarter. Warden trying to get free, step out, shoot the three, but a whistle called, and they're going to give it away from the basketball. Illegal screened on Jun.
We saw it back there, right there on the instant replay. Jaden Jun is nowhere near set, kind of stuck out the elbow and the knee with the contact. Just a textbook offensive foul.
Taylor Roovers moving it around. Now Hansen, she's trying to get free. Got forced into a bad pass and a turnover for Vermillion. Now trying to move it up the opposite way. Bounce pass down to the block, and Jun leans into the contact and a whistle called. It will be a foul against Warren, picking up her first personal, second team foul, and it will be free throws upcoming.
Both these teams doing a really good job being disciplined inside when they're inside the paint offensively, because you see them going up, and a lot of times they're going in to try to draw that contact and get these free throws. Now again, this is a Dakota Valley team that in the first matchup struggled from the free throw line, just 7 of 18 in the game. So that played a big factor in the last one. See how big of a factor it plays in this one.
Now quick substitution, as we'll see Bettworth come off and Stokes back on. Again, the first free throw that time was off the mark for Jun. Second free throw is no good, but it's going to be an offensive rebound back up. Warden can't get the go, but quickly Vermillion gives up 2 team fouls. And it's more free throws upcoming after Jun missed them both.
Well, those are just simply mental lapses right now if you're Coach John Brooks. That's what you're more upset about. Not even just giving up the rebound, but just the mental lapse this early into the game in a game that means this much. I mean, those small mental errors like that, we just can't be having those if you're the Vermillion Tanagers and want to stay in this one.
So now we'll see 2 free throws. For Aubrey Warden, as the first free throw is up and good. And that one, a crucial free throw as well. And with it, Dakota Valley gets their the third lead of the game. And the second free throw is off the mark for Aubrey Warden. And again, Vermillion can't box out, but eventually lost the basketball out of bounds, Panthers do. And it'll be Vermillion basketball with 89 seconds. Off of the turnover for the travel. 10-9, Dakota Valley is up by 1. Nelson to Roofers, underneath to Warren, who had it knocked away from behind. Drew quickly up into the front court, corner 3. This one's off the mark. Trying to chase after it. Taylor Roofers able to get on top of it, and then 4 girls collapse in on her to tie it up, able to do so. Possession arrow gives it to Vermillion. With 60 seconds remaining in the first quarter, Dakota Valley 10, Vermillion 9.
Just an absolute mess of bodies there in front of the student section. 4 different players down there trying to get that loose ball rebound.
Taylor Roofers just 3 points in quarter number 1. Aubrey Warden also 3 points in this first quarter. Again, the 2 big stars that we're watching for tonight, 2 young sophomores. And another turnover by Tessa Nelson. Second time that we've seen Vermillion throw it right to a player in black. Warden trying to get free. Sees the defense in front of her, trying to direct traffic to the corner. Passes it off, but gets it back. 18 seconds on the shot clock. She has plenty of time. Warden goes back to the corner. 3-pointer. This one is off the mark. Loose basketball. It's going to go out of bounds. They say last touched by Vermillion. And with it, the missed shot out of bounds shuts off the shot clock. So, Dakota Valley, with 18.9 on a clean inbound, can hold for the last second shot.
8 offensive rebounds so far in the first quarter for Dakota Valley.
Into Warden. Warden will drive up with the right hand. Good to go. Aubrey Warden with 5 points. And now Vermillion will have the opportunity to hold for the last second shot. At best they can do is tie it after quarter number 1. Hansen, the off-balance shot, nowhere close. Warden won't have any more opportunities to get the last second shot off. It's a 3-point lead for Dakota Valley. Cole, let's get to our trivia question of the night. We'll give all the fans a chance. And fans, you can tune in at home and chime along if you would like to with our chat. Question is, when last did the Vermillion Tanagers beat Dakota Valley's in girls playoff basketball? Again, girls and playoff basketball are the three key words. When last did Vermillion beat Dakota Valley? We'll let you think of that. You can guess if you want in our chat section. This second quarter is coming up in 30 seconds right here on Vermillion Tanagers Live and Live Ticket TV.
If new home construction or a major renovation project is on the top of your list for 2026, then let's kickstart your plans with an interest rate as low as 3.99%. A construction loan at Dakota Land Federal Credit Union is tough to beat and definitely something you can build on. Visit DakotaLandFCU.com for details or stop by a friendly and convenient branch location today. Dakota Land, federally insured by NCUA.
After quarter number one, it's a 3-point lead for Dakota Valley. One last time with our trivia question here, just to give you a moment to think about it some more. Question for the Region 4A playoffs. When last did Vermillion Tanagers beat Dakota Valley Panthers in girls playoff basketball? Our answer is coming up here at our next official timeout. But again, you can chime along in the chat if you would like to. We'll get back over to Cole Larsch here in just a moment. We'll have your first quarter statistics, but right now the thing you need to know the most, it's a 3-point lead for Dakota Valley after quarter number one. Aubrey Warden with 5 points. Cole, what numbers do you have for us?
Well, so far, I kind of talked about it just before the quarter break, but offensive rebounding been the big thorn in the side right now for Vermillion. DV has 8 offensive rebounds so far through the first quarter and now 30 seconds, and now they're going to give up a wide-open 3 on the right wing, and Dakota Valley gets another one to drop.
And that one is Katie Bedsworth's first points. Again, remember, she had 4 threes 2 weeks ago when these two teams met. This shot is off the mark. As quickly in the front court goes Dakota Valley. Basketball lost out of bounds. 6-point lead for Dakota Valley.
Also, more with that those rebounding numbers I just talked about. Dakota Valley is out-rebounding Vermillion currently in the game 15-7. That's been a big key of this game so far. And again, with a lot of those offensive chances, this one's probably tied or in Vermillion's favor. They can just get a defensive rebound.
Hansen misses, but gets back her own rebound, can't convert, and then ball knocked out of bounds. And Cole, you talk about the opportunities to score for the Vermillion Tanagers. And it's also been now over 3 minutes of game time since the last time we saw a Tanager bucket. 6-point lead here for Dakota Valley. Again, fans, you can also watch some scores ticking across. There's a lot of Class A and Class B basketball for postseason for girls is currently underway here at the moment. Most games tipped off at 7. Off-balance shot can't go for Bella Stokes. Correction, it was Meyer who hit the 3 earlier, not Bedsworth. Jumper by Roofers, this one's off the mark. Again, Dakota Valley stifling defense continues to do a great job. Loose basketball, fight for it, tie-up called, and possession arrow gives it to Vermillion Tanagers because, again, Dakota Valley got to start with the basketball at the beginning of the second quarter. So a nice job by Taylor Roofers. Again, an all-out effort right now at the moment for her. But she needs some help from her offense. Currently trailing by 6. Roofers, step back, 3-pointer. This one falls through off the friendly bounce of the home rims here in the birdcage. Cuts it down to just a 1-possession deficit again for the Panthers. Myers trying to get free. Now to Stuzzi. Back to Meyer. The drive, scoop layup, and good for Meyer. She has 5 points in this second quarter. In fact, the only Panther to score here in the quarter, 17-12. 5:25, second quarter. Reverse, Hinseth trying to get down to Hansen. The ball was poked out of bounds. It will stay with the Tanagers underneath their own hoop, again trailing by 5. Biggest deficit of 6 earlier in this quarter, at one point 15-9. Kick it deep to Richardson. Back to Ruvers. Step back 3 for her. Good to go. Taylor Ruvers, her third 3 of the game. Second 3 of the quarter. She's up to 9 points and draws it within a 2-point lead for Dakota Valley. Quick 3 the opposite way is off the mark. Rebounded by Callie Schultz. Hands off to Taylor Ruvers, who sprints into the front court. Ruvers to the left hand, to the corner. Hansen for 3. Good! And all of a sudden, Vermillion is knocking down threes. 3 threes in this second quarter. Vermillion back with the lead. It's the 4th different time that we have seen the lead change. 18-17. Again, at one point, it was 15-9. It's a 9-2 run by the Vermillion Tanagers. Hinseth to Hansen. She'll drive up with a bucket. She had an easy lane. And Lexi Hansen now with 8 points, and a timeout by head coach Tammy Lilly, as she has seen her 6-point lead evaporate. So we'll get back to our trivia question. Cole Larsch has his guests ready to go. Cole, your mind is in the right spot. When last did Vermillion Tanagers beat Dakota Valley Panthers in girls playoff basketball? Cole, walk me through your thinking here.
So my original guess is what I'm going to stick with. I believe it was the 2018-19 season. Somewhere in there was pre-Riley Rosenquist for Dakota Valley. I also believe it was Lexi Plitzowite's senior season where she set the school scoring record in their regular season matchup against Dakota Valley. And then Dakota Valley lost to Vermillion in the region playoffs later on that season, about 2 weeks later. I believe that's what I'm gonna stick with.
Lexi Plitzowite, put up 45 points in double overtime to set the school record at 45 points. It's now tied with Taylor Ruvers. But in the second time around, it was all Vermillion Tanagers. Cole, almost 7 years to the date. February 25th, 2019, where the Vermillion girls got the victory over Dakota Valley. Vermillion Tanagers would not play much longer. They'd eventually lose in the second round of the region game. But again, you were spot on. February 25th, 2019. Now they have only met once since that time. But Dakota Valley getting the better of the Vermillion Tanagers since then. And that's because these two teams since then have ultimately been such high seeds that they have not ran into each other.
Yeah, especially recently, teams running into either T, now Lennox, or Sioux Falls Christian once they got added into this region. That's kind of been the extent of the region playoffs for both these teams.
So a foul on Tessa Nelson to catch up here. Free throws for Meyer as she's able to knock down the first one again. Meyer has all 6 points for Dakota Valley in this quarter. Make it 7 for her. 3 of 6 from the free throw line tonight is Dakota Valley. It's a 1-point lead for Vermillion Tanagers. Again, we've already seen 4 different lead changes, 1 time. At one point, it was a 6-point lead for Dakota Valley. Deep 3, good for Taylor Ruvers. She buries another. 9 points in the quarter, 12 for the ball game, all from deep. She has yet to hit a field goal within the perimeter. The drive. Isabel can't get the go. 4-point lead for the Vermillion Tanagers, and this 4-point lead is now the biggest lead for Vermillion. Tessa Nelson will kick it back out to Ruvers. Again, Meyer trying to get the stifling defense. Want to go underneath the Schultz. Ball is knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Warden. It will stay with Vermillion at 3:11, second quarter. Again, great to have you along here on Vermillion Tanagers Live and Live Ticket TV. We'll see if we can't get you an update here in just a moment for more of what's going on, especially over in Sioux Falls. That game a little bit more of an interest for us. As last reported, it was a 11-point lead. 3-pointer off the mark for Meyer. But back to what I was saying, an 11-point lead for Sioux Falls Christian and 23-12. That's into the second quarter there. Also, the game we're interested in watching is Canton and Beersford. Canton with a 1-point lead, 18-17, halfway through the second quarter there. Again, those two teams played a week ago, with Beersford getting a 10-point victory. We'll talk more about the Region 4A playoffs coming up at halftime. Bettsworth for 3. This one is off the mark, but it's another offensive rebound for Dakota Valley. Kick it out to the corner. Far 2 is off the mark. Ball being knocked around. Dakota Valley not able to track this one down. And finally, Vermillion comes away with it. 2:33, second quarter. Again, if you're just tuning in, 4 different lead changes throughout this game already. We expect this one to be tight. It has been. Hinseth, her first bucket. Shay Hinseth adds another 3, 5th 3 of this second quarter. Cole, it's been fun, but you know it can't stay up for the Vermillion Tanagers. And now Ruvers picks the pocket of Warden. Quickly the opposite direction. 2-pointer is good. Taylor Ruvers with 11 in this second quarter, 14 for the ball game. And Tammy Lilly has just seen this one completely evaporate for her team. But John Brooks wants to call the timeout to make sure his team is set defensively, because Cole, he's tired of offensive rebounds for Dakota Valley.
I think that's putting it lightly again. Dakota Valley now with double-figure offensive rebounds in the game. And reminder, we're about halfway through the second quarter. Offensive rebounds, exactly. They are almost out-rebounding Vermillion. Dakota Valley's offensive rebounds compared to Vermillion's team rebounds. It's going to be a big talking point in that timeout.
28-19, but 9-point lead. You're happy now, but as I just said, Cole, a moment ago, the way the second quarter has gone, again, we have seen Vermillion almost 19 points. It can't stay this way.
And we saw that in the first matchup as well, as both these offenses in that first quarter came out hot, really in the first half. I mean, it was 31-30 at the end of the first half, both these teams shooting back and forth. And then we saw a combined almost 40 points in that second half when there was 60 scored in the first half. Again, we saw the first half, these offenses shoot really well. Second half, they struggled. We're going to see what happens here at the end of this second quarter.
Again, these two teams met just 2 weeks ago tonight. Warden, deep 3 for her. This one's off the mark. And that's also another thing. Aubrey Warden, 5 points in the first quarter. She has gone completely cold. Bettsworth has yet to score. She had 14 in the first half 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think that's just a testament to how this Vermillion ball pressure has been. I think they've been really keying in on the ball pressure, and I think what's kind of been lacking because of that is the offensive rebound, and they've sent so many people out to the wing, they can't get an offensive board inside.
And now Hansen's 3-pointer is off the mark. They say last touched by Bettsworth. As again, right now, winner of this one seems like at the point it'll travel to play against Sioux Falls Christian, as Sioux Falls Christian starting to open it up. So they called it out on Dakota Valley. 2 officials get together, change their call, and give it to the Panthers, saying last touch by Vermillion and Taylor Ruvers. 86 seconds remaining in this first quarter.
And although John Brooks and Vermillion fans probably won't like that call, that is the right thing to do. The center official there towards the benches had the better angle of it. And when in doubt, you get together and make the right call.
Bad pass in the lane, though. And then 2 Tanagers were fighting over it. Eventually come away with it. Vermillion has the slight numbers for a moment. Ruvers 3-pointer off the mark. Callie Schultz fighting for the rebound in there with Verdorn. Again, Verdorn picked up 2 personal fouls in that first quarter quickly. She has not fouled since. In the end, a jump ball called. It will give it to the Panthers.
And with how close and, pretty physical this game has been, we've seen 1 team foul here in this second quarter and only 6 in the first. I mean, these two teams are playing really tough. They're playing really close and playing clean. Now Dakota Valley, they've now had 2 illegal screens away from the basketball. We're going to watch it back here on the instant replay again. Aubrey Warden, just a textbook offensive foul. She's moving down to the baseline, not at all set. If you're going to set a screen like that quickly, you need time and distance. Time for the defender to react and distance enough, and the referee decided that not only was she's not set and moving, kind of stuck out the elbow, there was also not time and distance.
So give it back to the Vermillion Tanagers. Vermillion with this 9-point lead is their biggest lead of the game. And it's also the first team foul on Dakota Valley. Three-pointer for Hinseth knocks it down. Shea Hinseth now has 6 points. Vermillion has just gone crazy from deep in this second quarter. Again, we talk about home court advantage as well. By the way, Cole, I have to imagine here the scoreboard that we get to look at has completely been broken now, as they can't even get the three-pointer up on the scoreboard, but we'll keep it here on the board. Doesn't matter what you're seeing at home. It's 31-19 at the moment. Roovers trying to get free. So hold for the last second shot as well. Hansen, bounce pass to Schultz. She hurried it along. 2 seconds. Warden up with the floater before the buzzer. Good if it goes. Cannot. And that is the end of the first half. But Vermillion goes crazy, allowing Dakota Valley to score just 7 points and put up 22. Again, Vermillion outscores Dakota Valley 22-7 to have a 14-point lead as we go to halftime. Again, 31-19. Cole, great shooting, but certainly it's going to be a talking point as we go into halftime. Can this stay consistent for the Vermillion Tanagers?
You're exactly right. We always talk about law averages up here in the booth. I mean, it's just going to be one of those things where if they can keep it up, that's going to be what they're going to ask for. But as long as the shooting is keeping up, there's no reason to go away from it. I mean, you might as well just keep on shooting, and going to be interesting to see these first half numbers as well in the rebounding category.
We have our full first half statistics, scores from the region playoffs, not just Region 4A, but more from across the state of South Dakota. That's all coming up in 2 minutes. Hang around, stick around. That's on the way next on Vermillion Tanagers Live and Live Ticket TV.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
In times like these, it's good to know there's a place where people know who you are, no matter how long you've been gone. A place where the smells of home cooking are still in the air, where a simple wave warms your heart, and sharing stories is just a way of life. It's good to be home. Agraria Insurance Company, protecting what's important in life. Contact your local Agraria Insurance Company agent.
Farming today requires constant adjustment, innovation, and the right seed, and you'll find that with Pioneer Seed at Dakota Seed and Services in Irene and Vermillion. With the most advanced technologies and local experts, Dakota Seed and Service share in your hard work on the farm, adapting to an ever-changing industry. When you need the right seed, protection, and service, make it Dakota Seed and Services in Irene and Vermillion.
Best Western Ram.
Well, 6 threes in the second quarter. And that doesn't even count for all the points for the Vermillion Tanagers, but they open things up in the second quarter, outscoring Dakota Valley 22-7, led away by their sophomore outstanding player, all-state player. She's going to have a lot of awards at the end of the season. Taylor Roovers with 14 points. Sometimes it's not always said enough. Her defense has also been key in shutting down the other team so far tonight. Aubrey Warden, the other great sophomore for the Dakota Valley Panthers, who averages 15 points a game. She did not score in that second quarter. She has 5 for the game. Cole, let's take a look at our first half numbers and what we saw against Vermillion and Dakota Valley.
Yeah, first we'll start with Dakota Valley. 19 points, led in scoring Sophie Myers, 7 points, and a rebound. Again, all 7 points in the second quarter come from Sophie Meyer for the Dakota Valley Panthers. Aubrey Warden with 5. Again, Katie Betzworth was the leading scorer in the first matchup. She's been held scoreless. Bella Stokes, Isabel Carreau, Jayden Jund also in the scoring department. 12 in the first, just 7 in the second for their total of 19 points. 5 assists on 7 made baskets for their 19 points as well. 5 steals defensively. 21 total team rebounds, including 10 of them on the offensive side for Dakota Valley. Now for Vermillion, they kind of made up for it a little bit late in that second quarter in their rebounding department, but we'll get to their scoring. 31 points. Again, Taylor Roovers, 14 points, 3 assists. Lexi Hansen with 8, Shaylin Hinseth with 6, and Callie Schultz with 3 rounds out the scoring. 7 assists on 11 made baskets for 31 points. 4 steals, a block defensively. 14 rebounds for Vermillion in that first half, including 5 of them on the offensive side. So it's been a close one, but really not so much in the rebounding department. 21-14, the rebounding advantage for Dakota Valley. But again, at one point, Dakota Valley's 10 offensive rebound. We're out rebounding the Vermillion as a team. So good to see that one kind of climb back into the better column. Dakota Valley struggled from the free throw line in the first matchup. They shoot 3 of 6, in that first half. Vermillion 2 of 4, all in that first quarter. For your halftime score, 31-19.
Cole, it was a great second quarter. Again, 6 threes by Vermillion in the quarter, outscoring Dakota Valley 22-7. They had a lead 2 weeks ago, but we saw a third quarter that did not go well for the Vermillion Tanagers. As we go back to the Cole's Coach's Corner, what does Vermillion need to have success as we move into the second half?
Well, really, I think what they're doing is you look at Dakota Valley defensively here. We talked about it. They're either box and one, kind of the diamond and one they've been running. They kind of switched it from the diamond to the box, and they ran that for a majority of that second half when they could actually get set. Again, Taylor Roovers will have a defender on her no matter what. Vermillion likes to play a pretty common zone beater. That's just kind of play a high-low game at the post, kind of set up like a 1-3-1 zone defense. But then Dakota Valley, they're just simply putting defenders on the elbows and defenders on the blocks, kind of similar to this. Sometimes they're kind of stretched out depending on where the Tanager offense is. And again, how you beat this zone and how you beat a lot of zones is how Vermillion's been able to do it, not only with their good shooting, but you get Roovers and her man coverage, again, just face guarding Taylor Roovers. That's what they've been doing this entire game. You get a second defender to push. That's when they really start to try to force it inside at the free throw line. That's where we've seen Lexi Hansen, Tessa Nelson get a couple of open looks as well. And then that kind of opens things up offensively for Vermillion, because all of a sudden you've got different defenders trying to step in, and we've got 1, 2, 3 open offensive players for the Vermillion Tanagers. That's really been how they've been able to just kind of take this zone apart, and we're going to be interested to see if they decided to switch things up on the Dakota Valley side. On the Vermillion side, their defense, that 1-3-1 zone, we talked about it in the pregame show. They've run that a majority of the time, even when the rebounding issues, they kind of switched it up a little bit there. But again, just a simple 1-3-1 zone set, kind of similar to how they set up their offense. Just kind of playing right here, and then with Dakota Valley, and they don't have a lot of size inside. They like to play a 4-out, sometimes even a 5-out set offense. And what Dakota Valley's done really well is they've attacked these corners, because as you attack these corners, that forces this bottom defender to go out and the wing defender to crash down. And just like we talked about for Vermillion, to attack the zone, you try to draw a double team, and then all of a sudden we've got open lanes because you come here, you get your free throw line defender to come out, you swing it all the way around. Eventually they're getting open shots. Now Dakota Valley did a really good job. They got open shots, but Dakota Valley's biggest thing right now at halftime is not only keep on getting those open shots, but make shots. It's as simple as that right now for Dakota Valley. That's their halftime staff. I mean, they've been doing pretty good defensively. Had a couple of lapses there where they're able to get Vermillion to get some open looks, but they've gotten a lot of open looks themselves. Not only make shots, but keep rebounding, keep the offensive rebounding going. You're giving yourself looks, you're giving yourself chances. Eventually the ball is going to fall in the hole. For Vermillion, got to keep playing sound defensively, because as you keep on getting these defensive stops, they'll keep on turning to offense. They'll get the crowd back into with you. Again, we saw a majority part of that second quarter was the crowd kind of flipped this game, and that's why we've gotten to this score 31-19 at the half.
Quickly, before we get set for the start of the second half, let's get to some scores within this Region 4A. Again, all scores right now at halftime. Beersford is leading by 6 over Canton, 26-20. That is the 4-5 matchup. Beersford, the 5 seed. Winner of this one looks like will be traveling to take on Sioux Falls Christian, as right now at halftime it is 37-15, and also halftime here 31-19. So again, if everything goes as of what we're seeing, Beersford would travel to Lenox, and Vermillion would travel to Sioux Falls Christian on Thursday. Again, Vermillion fans, if Vermillion Tanager girls do win, we will have that coverage for you on Thursday as well. All right, we're set and ready to go to start this second half, as both teams will come back out in their starting 5 of Stokes, Meyer, Bettsworth, Verdone, and Warden. For the Dakota Valley Panthers, the Vermillion Tanagers, Richardson, Hanson, Roovers, Hinseth, and Schultz out there on the hardwood. Again, Vermillion outscored Dakota Valley 22-7 after the Dakota Valley Panthers had a 3-point lead of 12-9 after quarter number 1. In fact, Dakota Valley did get up to 15-9, but Vermillion went on a big run at one point of 9-2 to take back a lead. Had 4 different lead changes in the ball game, 1 different tie. And we expect this second quarter to get close. Once again, 22 points in that second quarter was nice. I would not expect that again for the Vermillion Tanagers. Neither team has any players in foul trouble either that we need to worry about as of right now. And here we are underway. The Tanagers now moving from left to right, as you see it at home. Again, Tanagers in their all-white uniforms. Dakota Valley in their all-black uniforms. Inside the birdcage, a packed house to watch this Region 4A matchup between the 3 seed and the 6 seed. A missed shot, offensive rebound, but then a turnover for Vermillion on their opening possession of the third quarter. And now Meyer, who has it in the front court. Again, Meyer put up all the points in the second quarter for Dakota Valley, all 7 points. We did not see Bettsworth score in the first half, and Warden did not score in the second quarter. And Warden puts up the 3. This one's off the mark, and Cole certainly needed to bring energy as well. It even feels flat right now here in the gym to start this third quarter.
Well, yeah, and that'll come with time because, again, as you know, halftime crowds like to go out, support their local concession stand, and whoever's running it, get a snack, get a drink, and we just kind of get things in. Again, we also, for a minute, we haven't seen really any action so far here in the birdcage in the second half. The crowd will continue to get into it as this quarter continues to roll.
Kick it deep to Hinseth, who is open for a moment. Jab step by Roovers. Now back to Hinseth, who is open. Will shoot the 3 this time. Leaves it short. As both teams haven't been able to knock down a shot during the first minute or so of this third quarter. Still a 14-point lead for the Vermillion Tanagers. Jab step, deep 3. 3-pointer off the mark. That time for Stokes. Now loose basketball, trying to fight for it. And a jump ball called. Possession arrow will give it back to Dakota Valley after it looked like Vermillion was going to come away with it. (31-19), 6:33, third quarter. Dakota Valley student section right in front of us stands up for the first time to start this second half. Probably should have done that about 90 seconds ago. Warden spinning in the lane as Roovers trying to reach in and tie it up. Too many steps. Turnover, and it will give it back to Vermillion.
Yeah, we saw that with our right foot there. Good call by our trail official, Dustin Swirlick, as she started to make her spin. Right foot went down, then up and down. Travel.
Roovers, now the deep three. Will try to shoot it. Can't knock it down, but it's an offensive rebound for a moment by Callie Schultz. Jump ball called again. A couple early whistles for jump ball here in this third quarter. Possession arrow this time. We'll keep it with Vermillion. 6-10, 31-19. Roovers slaps the basketball to trigger the inbound. Wants to go straight to Callie Schultz. To the corner with Richardson. Wide open, shoots the three. This one is off the mark. Basketball will go out of bounds. They say last touch, though, by Myra. She tried to get the rebound, and she didn't chase after it necessarily. So keep it with Vermillion. Now a substitution, as we'll see Size come out for a shooter. They bring on Tessa Nelson to the hardwood. Roovers trying to get free. Roovers the left-hand dribble. Step back, jumper, good. It's the first points for Taylor Roovers, 16 points in the ball game. She scored in all three quarters. Getting first points of this third quarter. And for that, Vermillion extends their lead as well. Trying to get some space. Bettesworth off-balance shot. She's put up a couple of those different off-balance shots. Has not been able to get to go. Richardson, bounce pass to Nelson. Back to Roovers, back to Richardson in the corner. She'll shoot a three, knock it down. Izzy Richardson, her first 3 points. And quickly, Vermillion begins on a 5-0 run to start this quarter. And now a timeout by head coach Tammy Lilly. And Cole, this is just trying to stop the momentum for the Vermillion Tanagers.
Yeah, and a lot of it's been because we've talked about it with plenty of different players, some different coaches up here in pregame, postgame interviews, but good shooting is contagious in basketball, and right now that's what we're seeing. And you got to give a lot of credit as well to Vermillion. Again, with the zone defense that they're playing and the scheme that they've drawn up offensively, we showed it in pregame, we showed it there at halftime. They're getting the ball where it needs to go. Roovers is drawing a double team. What's the rule in basketball? If you've got 2 players guarding you, that means somebody else is open. They swing it around, and we've gotten a couple open looks from the corner. Izzy Richardson, a couple open looks at the free throw line as well. So, I mean, this is just textbook how to beat this zone defense by Vermillion. And, again, so far it's been working for them really well. We talked about it again. Good shooting is contagious, especially when you're at home. You hear that roar of the crowd that just gives you that even that much more confidence when you're out there shooting.
No score updates from the other Region 4A games, but again, right now it feels like Sioux Falls Christian is going to get the victory as they're up big right now of 22 points at halftime, last seen there of 37-15. Again, if everything stays chalk right now in this bottom portion of the bracket of the Region 4A playoffs, Vermillion will travel to Sioux Falls Christian on Thursday. Again, we'll have the coverage right here for you on Vermillion Tanagers Live and Live Ticket TV. Out of the 60-second timeout for Tammy Lilly, she has 3 remaining. Warden, another 3-pointer, is well off the mark, and Cole, she just looks like she is struggling here tonight.
Well, again, a lot of it is because she's been the one, not really primarily, but secondarily guarding Taylor Roovers whenever she gets the ball. She's moving around a lot defensively, and also she's getting guarded very heavily on her own by the Vermillion Tanager, so it just seems like right now she's worn out there on the court.
Hanson almost turns it over. Now to the corner, Vermillion goes. Richardson, the drive looked like hands all over, and it was. Stokes will pick up the foul. And Izzy Richardson will toe the stripe and shoot 2.
Good job there by Richardson, just using her speed, and she got kind of like an ISO play, driving down the lane, had a wide open look at it, and just a good job, like you said, using that speed, driving down there, and able to get the foul called.
Izzy Richardson puts up the first free throw and knocks it down, and Cole, I think we bring up a point now. I know you're not going to want to talk about this. As Richardson shoots his second free throw, gets them both to go. But does Dakota Valley have enough in the tank right now? As now Vermillion has doubled them up, leading by 19. Can Dakota Valley make a comeback in this game, Cole?
Well, if they keep taking contested shots like they are right now, then no. I'm just going to put that as simple as it is. They are not making this any easier. You hear the Dakota Valley student section down to our right. That's not us. Also not FCC regulated, so that's beside the point anyway. But they're just not giving themselves open looks. We saw in the first half they were getting themselves open looks. They just weren't making it. And now they see the deficit start to grow. They're trying to get a 19-point bucket. And what Tammy Lilly has to say right now is you can't get 19 points in one shot. Continue to work the defense. Continue to get open looks. Vermillion on the other side, it is just simply moving the basketball around, creating the disadvantages for the defense, and they are capitalizing at an amazing rate right now.
And now Lexi Hansen throws off the off-balance shot. Hits the upper part of the glass and falls through. And an and one opportunity for her. As the free throw, though, is off the mark. She is 1 of 4, but has 10 points in the ball game. And again, this lead continues to get bigger and bigger. By the way, the foul was called on Warden, her second personal. So a couple different Panthers now with 2 personals, but that's the extent it goes. Kick out, 3-pointer for Richardson. This one is off the mark. Izzy Richardson has had a great third quarter, already 5 points in the game. 3-pointer the opposite way, missed. Warden, though, wide open, easy offensive rebound and scores. It's Aubrey Warden's first points since the first quarter. She has 7 for the ball game. And again, trailing by 19 is Dakota Valley. Step back 3 for Roovers is off the mark. Ball somehow gets poked back to her. She'll take advantage of it. Roovers makes the move. Tilts back, can't get the shot to go, and then hands collide together. Foul on Vermillion. First team foul. Again, give a lot of credit to these officials tonight. Have let this game played out, have not seen a lot of fouls called. The foul was called against Lexi Hansen. And now a timeout is called by head coach John Brooks. We'll step aside and take it with him. We're back in 30 seconds right here on Live Ticket TV and Vermillion Tanagers Live.
The hotel in Aberdeen is the place to stay for business or the weekend family getaway. You'll feel right at home with ample parking, spacious guest rooms, and complimentary breakfast. And with a convenient location, you'll have easy access to local attractions and events in the area. While staying at the Best Western Ramkota, guests can enjoy an indoor water play land, an on-site Minerva's restaurant, exercise facility, wedding services, and a business center. For friendly service and a great stay, make your reservation today.
A running clock right now in Sioux Falls as the Chargers all over the Huskies, 49-17, halfway through the third quarter there. So again, winner here will travel to take on Sioux Falls Christian coming up on Thursday night. Sioux Falls Christian, again, great season for them. Finished 16-4, the number 2 seed within this region. The only team better, obviously, is the Lennox Orioles, who finished 17-3, including 2 losses against Hamlin and a loss against the number 1 team in Class A, Maya Pialuta. Cole, did you get your final votes in for girls basketball this week?
I did, and let me tell you, there's a lot of people that don't watch Class B girls basketball. I just got to put it out there. I mean, don't even get me started. Yes, I got my votes in. It seems like everybody else just kind of copied and pasted what they put in last week.
And just, well, this team lost, we'll just put them there, and that team won and put them there, right?
It just does, like, for example, even in boys Class A, Vermillion has beaten Groton, twice?
Yeah.
And Groton is still above Vermillion. I just don't get it. I just do not get it.
Cole and
I'm off
I
my soapboxes.
Are certainly the outliers when it comes to the media voting. I probably more than Cole, but it's all right. 42-21 here after Nelson got the bucket, and now a whistle called on the reach-in. And it will send Meyer to the free throw line.
That's a good call. Both officials had it. Izzy Richardson just kind of put the arm out there trying to get it knocked away. Was able to do it last time she drove. Was unable to get the clean block this time.
First personal on Izzy, second team foul. Good free throw. Well, Cole, if you're a fan of the Vermillion Tanagers making the trip here to the Birdcage, it's been a good night here so far. If you didn't make it to the Birdcage tonight, your watch online, appreciate you, but you missed out on a good game so far. what has been a packed crowd. Now a jump ball called, and they'll give it back to Dakota Valley. 42-22. Again, we saw these two teams go back and forth throughout the first quarter and even into the beginning of the second quarter, but ever since then we saw Vermillion outscore Dakota Valley 22-7. And now, jump ball called as Warden is just trying to do it all herself right now, Cole. Even blew past his screen, and again, ball was tied up as she was about to go for a shot.
Again, these Dakota Valley players are just seeing the deficit right now, and they're trying to get 20 points in one drive. It seems like they've lost again. First half, they might not have scored very many points, but they were getting open looks, just weren't hitting them. They haven't shot one open look the entire game, and Vermillion is just, they're shooting the lights out right now here at home.
And Lexi Hansen continues to go to her left hand and get it high off the glass. This is the second time that we've now seen her do it in this quarter and get the shot to go. Quick three the opposite way, won't go for Dakota Valley. And now basketball lost here in the corner right in front of the Dakota Valley student section.
And even though that shot didn't go, that's probably the first true open look Dakota Valley has had so far in this quarter. Again, a reminder, they had 19 points at the half. They've scored 3 so far here in the third quarter.
1:18, third quarter. As Meyer gets it back to the top. Isabel, the fake, the drive, gets it to go. First points from her. Again, you may remember, she had 9 the last time these two teams met up. She's got 4 off the bench this evening. 44-24. Pass, took a deflection on its way through, being knocked around. That's why it's not an over and back, because Dakota Valley did tip it. It does not set their shot clock, does not reset the shot clock, 13 seconds. As Rivers trying to get free, under 10 on the shot clock. Hinseth back to Rivers with 3 seconds. The drive by Rivers gets it to go as she goes to the ground. Taylor Rivers with 18 points and what has been, if you will, a quiet night for her besides the second quarter where she put up 11. 46-24. Isabel, the drive. Can't get the shot to go. Offensive rebound. Jun back up. She can't get her shot to go. Ball is going to be knocked out of bounds. With 6.9 remaining, Vermillion trying to add to their 22-point lead before the end of this third quarter. And by the way, get to one other thing to mention here with this lead. Roofers, the drive, up with a shot, good to go off the glass. She drove in strong. It gets it to go. Taylor Roofers with 20 points in the game. 48-24 as Vermillion now has their biggest lead of the game of 24 points. And we head to the fourth quarter. Cole, I mentioned to you earlier, could Dakota Valley make a comeback? And with only 8 minutes remaining, Dakota Valley scores an average of 51 points a game. They would need a miracle at this point. The fourth and final quarter is coming up next here on Vermillion Tanagers Live and Live Ticket TV.
Out here, you learn that to keep growing, you have to keep changing. CHS and the farmers and ranchers we serve know all about change, because together we've changed agriculture. That's why we're the largest farmer-owned cooperative in the country. So farmers own the system they count on, with advantages at every step. From innovative tools that help crops grow, to grain processing expertise, to energy solutions, we create connections to empower agriculture. Learn more at chsinc.com.
As the famous saying goes, it's not over till the fat lady sings, but she's certainly warming up the vocal cords. And the clock looks like it might strike midnight. for Dakota Valley on their season. And what was such a promising season as well for Dakota Valley, again, Cole, you may remember, started off 5-0. Team that was in the top 10 according to the media, but from there things just slipped away for Dakota Valley throughout the season. And if you want to talk about Dakota Valley's season all in one word, tonight would be that word. Missed bucket, but Warden gets the offensive rebound and gets it to go. She has 9 points in the ball game. 48-26. Cole, numbers throughout the third quarter.
Well, really not much to talk about. Taylor Rupers obviously leading the way 20 points. The rebounding advantage has gotten smaller for Dakota Valley, and that thing's starting to come back as you see now Vermillion start to keep on getting those offensive rebounds inside, even with Izzy Richardson, probably the shortest player out there, getting that offensive rebound. And again, it's just Dakota Valley, they're really not getting open looks. Vermillion is, and they're taking advantage of it. That's for sure.
So Vermillion will have it. Oh my goodness, again we see it. The second time that we have seen Taylor Ruvers throw it off of Aubrey Warden, get the basketball back, and score. Oh my, she did that 2 weeks ago in Sioux City. The only difference was she got an and one opportunity out of it. That's just crazy, Cole, from Taylor Ruvers. I mean, we almost come to expect it at this point.
Yeah, I say we should come to expect it at this point in the game, but or at this point in the season it's just impressive plays like that, and that's what is going to put Vermillion over the edge here in this one. Now a 24-point game. I mean, Vermillion can't quite put it on ice. You know, it's the playoffs and anything can happen, but again, just keep on continuing to work, keep on getting open looks, and so far it seems like the only close game in this region playoffs is the 4-5 matchup as Canton leads Beresford by 6 as they start the fourth quarter. Sioux Falls Christian with a running clock, they're up 39. And here in this one, again, all these scores were at the end of the third quarter, but and Vermillion now up 24, 50-26.
Yeah, and if you're Vermillion, you certainly don't want to take your foot off the gas with the lead of 24 right now. You are looking to get to 30 and get out of here. Again, this is the final game for the Vermillion Tanagers here in the Birdcage. The win tonight will send them to take on Sioux Falls Christian on Thursday. We will have that coverage right here for you on Vermillion Tanagers Live and Live Ticket TV if you can't make it to Sioux Falls. Three-pointer off the mark, and Cole, if you're good, we'll get your traditional Culvers for you on the way home as well. How's that sound? Win or lose.
You just made my night.
And I know what you're preaching. I've been seeing you get the work in, but you can have a cheat meal on Thursday, all right?
Bang. I don't know. I've got some pretty good chicken pasta in the crock pot right now. That's calling my name right now.
Getting to the crock pot. I told you, start using that thing a little bit more. You get some good meals out of it.
We use it all the time. I mean, we're college kids. You just throw something in at noon, and by 6, 7 o'clock, it's done.
Crock pot might be the most underrated utensil in the kitchen, and you can stat that.
Oh, I agree. That's a great statement right there. Usually you have some ridiculous takes here on air. I think that's a great take.
Richardson, back to Taylor Ruvers. That's now Vermillion, even with this 24-point lead, going to start using this clock as well to their advantage. Jumper for Ruvers is off the mark. And again, reiterate, after the missed shot, an offensive rebound. And now a timeout for John Brooks as he wants to keep the clock on his side. Does not want to give it back to Dakota Valley. But again, Dakota Valley scored an average of 51 points a game. They gave up an average of 50 points. Again, with Vermillion at 50 points, they're just working the clock up by 24. We'll step aside. We'll take a quick 30-second break. When we come back, the remaining of this fourth quarter. That's on the way next here on Vermillion Tanagers Live and Live Ticket TV. When it comes to advertising, reaching the right market while giving back to the school is just plain right. If you're looking for an effective method that reaches a large fan base at once, then here's your ticket with Live Ticket TV. With over 90 schools in the state of South Dakota, we can help you advertise locally with just your home team or reach the region. Plus, a portion of all sales go directly back to the school. Get a hold of Heath Nimke today, and let's get started in building your brand with Live Ticket TV. 50-26, 5:54, fourth quarter. As again, Vermillion, you go all the way back to that second quarter where they outscored Dakota Valley 22-7, and they have had a lead at halftime of 31-19 and controlled this entire second half, up by 24 right now at the moment. Roovers the drive, good defense by Dakota Valley. So Roovers can't get the go. Warden just trying to throw it completely up to Betsworth, and turnover. Cold, bad possession for Dakota Valley, and for Vermillion, it's their opportunity to waste 30 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, exactly. And again, we saw that in the third quarter even they started to slow things down, and that's how they're getting a lot of their open looks. They're just slowing the offense down, working the zone. Now it's a man defense, but just kind of work these advantages and get at the open player and make a shot, just like that.
Roovers cut it inside, off the glass, and good for two. Taylor Roovers, again, I feel like it said quiet night for her, 24 points, including knockdown 3 threes in the second quarter. Three-pointer the opposite way, good for Sophie Meyer, who is in fact the leading scorer for Dakota Valley with 11 points in the ball game. Didn't have that one on your bingo card at home. 52-29, 4:40, fourth quarter. Richardson cutting in, and as she was cutting, traveled. And even head coach John Brooks is telling his girls, slow everything down. We do not need to be in a hurry here. Again, he wants to waste more of this clock. As Cole has mentioned already, this one certainly feels well in hand, but don't need to give yourself a mini heart attack in the meantime and watch this big lead evaporate because of anything silly. Verdorn's shot is blocked, and the ball will go out of bounds. It'll be Vermillion basketball.
And we can kind of relate this back to when we talked with Trey Hansen and Lewis Budmeyer after the game on Friday, I believe, against Ponca, Nebraska. You want to keep on stacking momentum as you get in the playoffs, and now as you're in the playoffs, last thing you want is the bad taste in your mouth of you blowing a 25-point lead against Dakota Valley. Just keep on coming out here, play it good. Obviously, DV's going to get their points, as we see. I mean, this is a talented Dakota Valley team. They're going to get their offense, but as long as you play these last 4 minutes good and up to your standard of basketball, you're going to get positive momentum going into a tough environment, which is Sioux Falls Christian.
Got to stay healthy, too. You cannot take a bad injury right now if you're Vermillion. Here with 3:53 remaining to go. But again, still need good basketball here at the moment. Another turnover. Even with a 21-point lead, got to do, Cole, you always say, the basics. Got to get the basics right. Make sure you take care of the basics.
That's what I was just going to say. You got to take care of the little things.
Make your bed in the morning.
Overrated. Got to take care of the little things while you can to avoid the big mistake. That's what a lot of my coaches always say.
And there's a bad pass by Meyer. River is the opposite way. Gets it to roll around and go through. Cole, you should make your bed every morning. Takes all of 30 seconds.
I do.
Okay, good.
But it is still overrated.
54-31. 3:23. The drive by Meyer, up with a shot. Can't get the go, but she is fouled and will head to the free throw line. So 2 free throws upcoming. The foul was on Lexi Hansen, picking up her second personal. Into the third quarter right now. Canton leads over Beersford 47-41. I should say that's last score reported as well. We have not seen any update since then. Also, Sioux Falls Christian is going to be outpoint Jefferson in the final 2 minutes there. 37-point lead for Sioux Falls Christian. As Cole has the game up in front of us. 7-point lead for the Seahawks. Again, that game does not matter when it comes to Vermillion, but just of interest, if you will. Rivers, the drive off the glass, can't get the go. Fight for the rebound underneath the hoop. 23-point lead. Quickly, Warden the opposite way. Up with the left hand. She can't get the go. Offensive rebound. Back with Warden. Whistle called, and it's free throws upcoming for Warden. As even Taylor Rivers is starting to show that she's absolutely tired. Brooks having a conversation with Taylor Rivers right now away from the free throws. Warden misses the first.
Saw him struggle in the first game from the free throw line. 7 of 19, I believe, was their number. 7 of 18, excuse me. They are 4 of 11 from the field, or from the free throw line. Make that 4 of 12 in this one.
They have struggled from the charity stripe tonight. As again, John Brooks a moment ago was talking to Taylor Rivers during free throw shooting. Make sure staying work more of this clock, because again, Vermillion has taken some quicker shots here in the last few possessions. 2:15, fourth quarter. Rivers, step back three with 7 seconds on the shot clock. Missed, fight for the basketball, and we're gonna say a jump ball called, and it will give it back to Vermillion with a fresh shot clock. So Cole, great possession by Vermillion.
Couldn't really drawn up any better. I mean, maybe better if you make the shot, but at the end of the day, you took time off the clock, which is exactly what you wanted, and you got the ball back with a fresh shot clock so you can take more time off the clock.
By the way, these two teams are going to become very familiar opponents as well, as Dakota Valley only has one senior on their team. Vermillion Tanagers with 2 seniors on their team, and one can't even play right now due to a shoulder injury. 14 seconds on the shot clock. So again, a lot of young players for both these squads. In the end, though, it's going to be Vermillion's young team that's going to get the better of Dakota Valley. And now Warden knocks away from Taylor Rivers. Again, those two teams, Sanford Sports Academy teammates. We'll have some laughs and smiles this summer about the matchups they had. But for Vermillion, it's going to be 2 victories in 2 games this season. I'll tell you this much, John Brooks was certainly nervous going into this game. First free throw is good for Isabel. Foul was against Nelson. And now, I see Sydney Johnson, the senior, check on. Excuse me, 3 seniors for Vermillion. As we'll see all the seniors, I believe, get one more opportunity to play. Again, besides Delaney Schmidt, who is out with a shoulder injury.
Good to see him. Like you said, the last time, as it is official, Sioux Falls Christian defeats Elk Point Jefferson 69-32. So Tanagers, assuming they can hold on to a 22-point lead with a minute left, will travel to Sioux Falls on Thursday. Likely start time 7 o'clock once again. We'll have all the coverage right here. Vermillion Tanagers live and live ticket TV.
Rivers is just going to dribble this one out. Again, holding it for as long as she possibly can. The wraparound by John. Which, Cole, you'd take that, actually, because it's just a second-team foul, but actually it's a fresh shot clock.
Yeah, exactly. Fresh shot clock. You can take down the clock even more, and you can tell. I mean, Dakota Valley, they've lost all fight in this one. And they were getting open looks in the first half. They wouldn't fall. They started to become a little bit defeated after that when they were down 12 at the half, and now, again, you just see them. They're just... This is a young team, though. They're going to bring a lot of players back. They're going to be a very, very fun team to watch these upcoming seasons, that's for sure.
Fans, coming up on the post-game show, we'll have our final numbers. We'll get you set for Thursday and see if we can't catch up with a player and or coach to relive the excitement from the final game here in the Birdcage of the season. But the season not finished for the Vermillion Tanagers. As Rivers puts up the three-pointer, can't get it to go. Tammy Lilly is asking for the rolling timeout if she can get it. As she will pull out her starters, and that will end the season for Dakota Valley. As John Brooks will throw in a couple of his players. Everyone that got a chance to put the jersey on tonight will get their opportunity to play, including Taylor Rivers will check out for the final time tonight. She'll finish with 26 points in the ball game. 54-32. They did put the time up on the clock for the timeout, if you will. So getting that reset, ready to go. Final 26 seconds. A few of the backups out there going to play basketball like normal. Ball underneath. Back to the top. Foot on the line. Deep two, can't go. Sydney Johnson will get the rebound. She'll move quickly into the front court. And Vermillion on to the semifinals of the Region 4A postseason, getting the 22 victory over Dakota Valley by the final score of 54-32, led away by Taylor Roovers, 26 points in the ball game. Cole, this one feels good if you're the Vermillion Tanagers. Not only the season that they had, finishing 12-8 on the year that was the unknown for this girls basketball team, but again, grabbing the 3 seed within this extremely tough region, and then getting Dakota Valley, the team that if Vermillion could have picked anybody, wanted to avoid the most. But tonight, they take care of business, and they do it in great fashion.
And they're going to end the season with only 1 home loss as well. I think the birdcage played a huge factor in it. And like you said, we talked about it. We know the history between these two teams. We know they recently just played. And to kind of end I don't want to say not end their season, but end their tenure here at the birdcage this season, here with a big win. I mean, that is exactly what you want to do. Huge crowd on hand as well. And just the motto of the playoffs now as we're starting to approach March is survive and advance. They do so in, like what you said, is probably the toughest region in the state here, Region 4A.
Post-game with our full game statistics. Get you ready for Sioux Falls Christian and more. That's all on the way in 2 minutes right here on Live Ticket TV and Vermillion Tanagers Live.
Could you use some extra cash? Every Thursday night, we're hosting Chase the Pink Ace with a large jackpot and growing jackpot. I'm RF Bowie, the founder of Team Bowie Cares. 100% of the profits go to local cancer patients fighting their fight. You can get your tickets at any business inside Al's Oasis or online at chasethepinkace.org. Drawing is held every Thursday night at 8:08 p.m. at the Last Chance Saloon inside Al's Oasis. Thanks for caring.
Midwest Ready Mix Equipment is your locally owned and operated ready mix company. Their specialty, 6x6 front discharge mixer trucks that allows for better placement of concrete and ease of use. Midwest Ready Mix Equipment offers the highest quality of concrete products and aggregate, and also a full-service dealer for Logon equipment featuring telehandlers, excavators, and ASV track skid loaders for purchase or rent. Midwest Ready Mix Equipment, East Highway 50, Vermillion.
Innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
And a place that has been known for home victories this season, the Vermillion Tanagers will notch another one and the most important one of their season. And the Region 4A playoffs, 54-32. Vermillion girls get a dominating victory over Dakota Valley, which saw Taylor Roofers finish with 26 points in the ball game. More to come up for the Vermillion girls as their season continues on. Next game, it's going to be Thursday against Sioux Falls Christian in Sioux Falls. We'll have all the coverage for you right here on Vermillion Tanagers Live and Live Ticket TV. Should be an exciting one. Again, that's obviously a rematch from earlier this season where Vermillion did play in Sioux Falls. And again, going back to that game back on Thursday, January 22nd, so almost or just over a full month ago, 47-72. Vermillion Tanagers fell in that game. It was a close first half, but Sioux Falls Christian was able to pull away in the second half of that game. We'll see if Vermillion can't get revenge. They would certainly love that. But tonight, certainly celebrate this victory over Dakota Valley. Cole, final game numbers from inside the birdcage.
Yeah, first we'll start with Dakota Valley, 32 points, 4 assists, again, all of those in that first quarter. So again, just quit moving the ball around in that second half and then could not make a shot because of it. Their leading scorer was Sophie Meyer, 11 points and a rebound. Aubrey Warden just 9 points, but 15 rebounds in the game, an assist, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Isabel Carew with 5, Bella Stokes with 3, Jane Junn, Katie Betzworth with 2 apiece rounds out their scoring. 32 points. They had 34 rebounds in the game, 17 of them offensive. 8 steals and 2 blocks defensively. They scored 12 in the first, 7 in the second, 5 in the third, 8 in the fourth for their total of 32 points. They'll end their season at 7-13 overall. For the Vermillion Tanagers, 54 points, led in scoring by Taylor Roovers with 26 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals. Lexi Hansen was next leading scorer with 12 points and 3 rebounds in the game. Shaylin Hinseth with 6 points, Izzy Richardson with 5, and Callie Schultz with 3 points and 10 rebounds in the contest. 10 assists on 54 points, 7 steals, 2 blocks defensively. Also got back in it with the rebounding category. 30 rebounds in the contest, including 13 of them offensive. For the Vermillion Tanagers, who also shot 4 of 7 from the free throw line. They scored 9 in the first, 21 in the second, 17 in the third, and 6 in the fourth for their total of 54 points. They'll move to 13-8 on the season, and will travel up to Sioux Falls Christian on Thursday to take on the Chargers. Should be a fun one there. Was a fun one here. It's been a fun region tournament so far, if you like blowouts, except for one game.
Yeah, and as of right now, it looks like everything is also going to go to chalk as well, as it's a 12-point lead right now at the moment in the final 40 seconds inside Canton. Seahawks leading 64-52 over the Watchdogs, and what we thought could potentially have some upsets along the way within this Region 4A. Again, it looks like everything is going to go according to plan on the night. And again, all top seeds are going to move on. So Lennox is going to play against Canton on Thursday. Sioux Falls Christian versus Vermillion. Cole, that Vermillion-Sioux Falls Christian game, certainly going to be a tough one for the Vermillion girls.
Yeah, we knew that. I mean, Sioux Falls Christian was just a couple tenths of seed points away from grabbing the number 1 seed. We knew the top 2 teams were really good in Lennox and Sioux Falls Christian. It was going to come down to how they finished the year, and Sioux Falls Christian ends up getting a couple key wins against some very good teams, and the out-of-state numbers come in as well. And they got the number 2 seed. They showed why they're number 2 seed tonight with that big win over Elk Point Jefferson. But that'll be a tough one. It'll be a fun one, but also a pretty tough one because, as we always know, Sioux Falls Christian is really good. They are very well coached as well, and that's going to be a rocket environment. You thought it was rocking in here. Sioux Falls Christian maybe a little bit of a smaller of a gym. It's going to be a really fun matchup there on Thursday, 2 days from now.
Quick look at regions from across the state of South Dakota. Not seeing a whole lot of upsets and or, if you will, maybe games of surprise. As right now, all top seeds have won their games, besides the one other game that we're seeing. Platte Geddes could get the win over Chamberlain, as that one could go final. You can sit down if you want to. You don't have to be weird. Gosh, scare me sometimes. What's up, Taylor?
What's up?
How you doing?
Pretty good.
You were hands on the knees at one point, heavy breathing. What was that type of environment out there tonight?
I mean, it was amazing. Everyone came and we all got together. We played really together, and that's what made us really good. And we just stuck everything together, and I mean, we got it done.
Obviously, if you didn't know, if you can't understand it, it's Taylor Roovers here on the post-game show. Great to be joined with Taylor. So let's walk us through this game. We knew it was going to be a close one. 12-9 after quarter number 1. It was a 3-point lead for Dakota Valley. What were the feelings after the first quarter? What was the feeling out process for the girls after the first quarter?
Yeah, I mean, you coming in that it was going to be a pretty tough game, so we just kept our composure. I mean, we were really focused on playing together, and that's what we did going in. We were all very focused, and we just were proud of everyone, and after the first quarter, we just were like, we got to keep rolling. And, we kept on getting open looks, and that's what we started knocking them down with confidence.
The numbers were 6 threes in that second quarter. You had 11 points, outscored Dakota Valley 22-7 in that second quarter. Built a little bit of a lead, 31-19 going at halftime. What was the message at halftime from head coach John Brooks?
We knew that we had to come out just like how we started. We got into our head and we were like, it's 0-0 going in, and we're not ahead right now. We just got to keep rolling. That's what we did.
And you do exactly that into the second half, starting to pull away. When did you know that you guys were going to win this game and move on in the region postseason?
Mostly when it came down to when they were trapping, I knew that I could split them and get to the free throw line if I needed to, and that's when I was just really getting excited.
Walk me through this. So you did it, obviously, Aubrey is your teammate when it comes to the summer, but not once, but twice now you have thrown it off of her back and scored. Where does that mindset come from? How do you do that?
I just see her head turned, and so then I'm like, man, if I just hit it off right directly off her back, it'll just bounce right back to me and I can just go score. But she played really good tonight, and we only held her to 9 points, but I'm very proud of her.
Yeah, I was saying it's going to be fun to talk to her as well when it comes to teammates later on. If you haven't heard the news, Sioux Falls Christian blew out Elk Point Jefferson, so you're traveling to Sioux Falls. What's that matchup going to be like? How important is it, and how tough is it going to be taking on the Chargers?
After we lost to them during the season, Brooks was like, we're going to get our second chance back, and that's where we are right now, and we're just going to give everything we got on Thursday, and let's roll.
Taylor, let's go get them, all right?
Let's go.
Taylor,
Thank you.
Taylor Rivers here on our post-game show. As she's excited, she's pumped up. She wants to play some more basketball, and she'll get that opportunity coming up on Thursday. As again, Vermillion will travel to take on Sioux Falls Christian in the semifinals of the region postseason. Cole, final thoughts from inside the birdcage before we're back with you on Thursday.
I don't think I'd speak for just myself when I say this, but this game went much better than I thought it was going to for Vermillion. I thought it was going to be exactly how we saw in the first quarter, kind of a knockdown, drag out, exactly how we saw the second half go in the first matchup as well. And Vermillion came out, like we said, 12-9. They were down after the first quarter. All of a sudden, in baseball terms, the bats became hot. They couldn't miss. Crowd got into it. I think that was a big key as well. This birdcage crowd, when you get into it, that's such a home court advantage, and then especially when in that first half, especially that second quarter when Dakota Valley's going down right in front of the Tanager student section, and they're super loud. It was great. It's a great way to round out playing in the birdcage. It's going to be a tough matchup on Thursday. Sioux Falls Christian, as we know, very good team, very well coached. They're solid all around. The size played a big factor in the first one. They kept it close in the first half because they got Setzer and can't think of her name off the top of my head, but they got them in foul trouble in that first half. That's how they'll keep it close. And we should see what they do, kind of switch up defense a little bit. Again, short rest, just one practice tomorrow before you take them on Thursday, but that's what happens when you get into regions. Keep on winning, survive, and advance.
Fans, we will be with you at 6 o'clock coming up on Thursday for the pregame, as tip-off is what we are expecting to be scheduled for 7 o'clock. Again, all the action right here on Live Ticket TV and Vermillion Tanagers Live in the Region 4A semifinals. The 2 versus the 3. That is all coming up on Thursday. Final score, once again, 54-32. Vermillion is on. One final look there at the Region 4A bracket as, again, Seahawks get the victory 66-52. And again, 69-32 as Sioux Falls Christian eliminates Elk Point Jefferson. So we say goodbye to Beersford, Elk Point Jefferson, and Dakota Valley on the season. But more specifically, Vermillion is on to the semifinals. Until Thursday, you've been listening to Vermillion Tanager Basketball on Live Ticket TV and Vermillion Tanagers Live. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your evening.